All right, lacrosse archery fans, we are here again on day 2. I got my lunch. I'm not as crabby as I was this morning. I'm here with Alex Rich from Mystery Ranch. You are the product designer?
Product designer.
Product designer. All right, can you I know last year we went over the whole history and the backstory of Mystery Ranch from the early beginnings with Dana Designs. But we talked about, this morning before we shot the video, we talked about kind of the military background that you guys started from.
Sure.
And then I was looking over your shoulder and I saw this bag. I thought it was brand new. It's just one that I'd never seen before. Can you kind of explain this one? I'm excited about this bag.
Yeah, so this is the Mystery Ranch cabinet. It's actually one of the older bags in our hunting line.
It looked new to me.
It's actually one of the bags that started our hunting line. So Mystery Ranch started out making a lot of backpacks for the military. Special operations guys that are getting dropped off, like, way out in Afghanistan. And they need a way to carry airdrops of fuel, ammo, that sort of thing. So the predecessor to this pack is called the Crew Cab.
Okay.
And one of the reasons that it's pretty cool is it's got a nice little day pack on the front. It's got some pockets, some nice long tube pockets on either side that can compress flat to the frame if they're not in use. But this bag's kind of convertible. So if you undo the buckles on the sides for me.
Oh, 2 of them.
That front piece can lay flat, and then you've got these pouches that can also open up, and then you can fold this front pocket up and it creates a cavity. So what the soldiers were using this for was carrying jerry cans full of fuel, ammo, that sort of thing. So the funny part about it was, around the office we had a bunch of elk hunters, and they saw this pack and they're like, well, that's perfect for carrying elk quarters.
It looks about the shape of a back leg, right in there.
So while we were doing primarily stuff for the military, in-house, we were already using some of these packs for hunting purposes, and that was kind of the genesis of the hunting line for Mystery Ranch. Is just kind of seeing something that was purpose built and seeing another application for it.
Yep, and just kind of, and for us, as far as in our world of whitetail, we're predominantly whitetail up here in Wisconsin, or up there in Wisconsin. What I saw is a perfect pack to stick a climber tree stand in.
Sure.
And you set that climber in there, and then you close everything up, and that's just that much closer to your back, so that load feels a lot better.
Sure, you could throw a tree stand in there. You could throw, a bag of seed in there. If you need, for whatever reason, carry.
Depending on the county in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
If you can do seed or not.
Yeah, but you could carry that from the truck to whatever location you can get it to. You could even drop a bow in there. If you'd prefer to carry your stand on your shoulder, and have your bow in the pack.
Yeah, especially if you pack this with, you put a couple pair of gloves and hats in the sides here. Get this nice and puffed up. Put your bow in between there. It's riding on air brakes or air shocks there for a little while.
So this is a pretty cool piece for us. It's really convertible, and people just keep finding more and more applications for it.
And there's a lot of cubic inches inside of here.
Yep. I think we cubed it out, and I think it's almost up to 40 liters.
Oh yeah,
I think total.
Mr. Ranch's liters.
So what would that be? That's
it's like roughly a lot.
3,000 cubic inches, somewhere in that ballpark. So yeah, you actually got quite a bit of capacity, but it can compress really down.
Because looking at this right now, it's full of airbags and pillows, so that you can see what it looks like full. But when these are empty, that bag's not that big. But you have a lot of capacity in there.
And the Crew Cab comes on our guide light frame, which I think we touched on this frame system last year. But it's a really robust system. It can carry more weight than I can handle. We pack elk quarters on this, but whole deer, tree stands, anything that you can throw at it, this frame can handle. It's got a telescoping yoke system. Any torso size, any height user, and it's got a really nice waist belt that's got some flexibility to it, and it's pretty low profile, so that's a really nice belt.
All right, so new for this year, Alex, it looks like we've got a sawtooth, 45. So can you explain a little bit about the bag, about the frame, what's new about the frame, and how it's different from any bag that you guys have done in the past?
Sure, we're introducing 2 new bags this year, the Sawtooth and the Beartooth. The Sawtooth is 45 liters, the Beartooth is 80 liters, and those are going on a new frame system. We're calling that the Guide Light MT. And the Selway is also transitioning onto that frame as well. I have here the Sawtooth 45 liter pack. Pretty cool system. It's got a new D-shape zipper that we're working on, so it's really awesome access to your pack. If you undo the top buckles there, you can go ahead and use this pack just like a top loader. just to access your gear through the top, real simple. The zipper also does continue all the way around the bag. So if you do lose some items in the bottom, or you get to camp, or you know, your tree stand or whatever, and you really want to get at all your gear, you can go ahead and open that whole thing just wide open.
It looks like we don't want anything to fall out, but it looks like there is mesh on the front end, so you can put some necessities on the front end.
Right. There's a little bit of additional storage there.
Yep.
Which, you know, I use that for like a first aid kit. You know, stuff that I'm not always getting in and out of my pack. But I want to know,
but if you need it, you need it fast.
You need it fast, so you know exactly where it is, you know, all the time. So, cool new access story for us, and a little bit of organization, which I think a lot of guys are going to like. Like you mentioned, it does come on a new frame system for us. This is the Guidelight MT frame. You could take a look at the belt. This belt's a little bit more robust than the belt on the Guidelight frame. The Guidelight frame offers, you know, pretty awesome weight transfer from the bag to the user, but it kind of lacks some of like that, you know, creature comfort, like, you know, really, you know, kind of cush waist belts. So we went back to a segmented waist belt system, which this has, and like I said, you can see just, you know, how much foam there is, and how well that can really contour your body because of that segmented nature.
Yeah.
The frame is also a little bit stiffer than the Guidelight frame. Again, you know, the Guidelight has some nice flexibility to it. But the Guidelight MT is like, you know, nice and rigid, really transfers that load, you know, with positive contact through the waist belt. And that rigid nature really helps, you know, continue from, you know, especially like packing quarters, that sort of thing, you know, from your back, like onto your hips, to really transfer that efficiently.
Make life more comfortable. And then one thing, I didn't have a problem with it, but it was sometimes tough, was taking the bag off the frame if need be.
Sure.
This looks different back here.
Yeah, it is. So on the Guidelight system, you'd have to remove a lot of the buckles on the top to get to the overload system. What we changed for this year is, if you look back here behind the yoke, we put a buckle. And this buckle, you go ahead and press that, it releases that frame cap, and you can go ahead and pull the frame right away from the bag.
Then just 4 buckles and you're done.
You got it.
Seems a lot easier.
Yeah, much more convenient. I wish we'd have thought of that in the first place.
Yeah. That just means that I get to get a new bag, you know, replace the one from last year.
So that's the Sawtooth 45 on the Guidelight MT frame, and that's new for us in 2019.
And that comes in all your guys' colors? Or what colors?
Right now it comes in Coyote and Foliage.
Okay, and that's this one, correct? Right behind me?
Nope, that would be...
No, that's green.
That's Ivy, I believe. Foliage
is that one, a little bit different color.
Foliage is this color.
One of these days I'll get this thing snapped. Oh, it's because I'm pushing on the back. There we go. So, you know, this one's new for this year. Last year we had one that we talked about in our video. I've been wearing it. I like to be a little bit of a model. This guy, the Treehouse, our customers loved this pack, especially for the whitetail guy.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it was designed with whitetail in mind, kind of sitting in the tree stand, Treehouse being its name. Can you just reiterate the features of this bag and what makes it a perfect whitetail bag?
Sure. So we developed this bag, you know, specifically for use in a tree. We've got a really robust hanging handle here. Also works great as a carry handle.
Yep.
You know, and that's kind of your center contact between, you know, the hook and the tree. And we, you know, integrated this lid, so the lid can lay forward. So once that bag is hanging on the tree, you have a nice workspace right here. On this lid, this front mesh pocket also continues onto the back, so there's access here as well.
Throughout the whole thing.
So if it does start raining on you, or you get, you know, some wind, what have you, and you don't want that lane wide open, you do have the option of accessing that pocket from both sides.
And then another thing, I worry about food a lot. You know, I like to eat when I'm in the tree. This, for me, was kind of a lunch table.
Yep.
I love it because there's that frame in there. It's not, I guess it's not a frame, but it's got a little bit of a skeleton.
Sure.
So it'll hold its own weight. Or, you know, for the serious hunters, they can set their binoculars instead of a sandwich on top.
Right.
Of it.
Yeah, the last thing we want is we want to provide good access to the bag, but the last thing we want is for you to dump all your gear on the ground.
Yeah.
Or your sandwich, in your case. So that way we put a little bit of rigidity in the front here, to make sure that, you know, you're not having a yard sale when you're out in the woods. You can actually continue your hunt.
And it's tough to see at this angle, but it's super compartmentalized in here too. So your gloves and your hat can go on one side, all your calls can go on this side. It's very compartmentalized, so you can stay organized even when you're 25 feet up, up on the tree.
There's even a little bit of shaping here on the lid. Some guys that shoot like back tension want to put their releases in a spot that they know where it's at all the time. So there's a couple little, pockets, that aren't necessarily zippered pockets that guys can, kind of put stuff and have really quick access to. Another addition that we did on this bag is we included some modularity. So on the side here, we included molly strips here at the top, as well as on the inside of the bag and the other side. And that's where, you can pick up some of the accessories that we offer and go ahead and like customize the bag and how you want to organize your gear.
Yeah, whether it be like a GPS holster, they all snap right to the bag. Or not on the hips on this guy, but that one, the hips on this too, you can hold all kinds of stuff. What I do, that's actually where I put my release. My release aid goes right in that pocket, so I know it's right on my side.
And so that was one of the reasons that we didn't want to like dictate too many pockets and too much organization. We wanted to give guys the availability to really organize their gear how they saw fit, and that modularity is kind of the way to do that.
It's like you're saying that whitetail hunters are kind of divas. I feel like that's what we're
not necessarily. Sometimes they can be, but not everybody's right-handed. Some guys shoot left-handed. Trees are different shapes. Shooting lanes end up in different places, and you want to be able to like organize your gear for a specific set.
And that makes perfect sense. As far as that goes, as far as backpacks, I guess new backpacks, we went over that. We went over one of our favorite bags at the shop that our customers loved. A couple. Are there any new accessory pouches or anything like that this year?
Not really. I think we added, let's say, the Zoid cells over there on the left. Those are kind of more organizational friendly.
So for storing your stuff in the basement kind of thing? Or?
Yeah. Okay. We use a lot of them in Western hunting. When we have like our food in one bag and our, kill kit in another bag, there's a lot of gear that we run through, in our packs. And it's just a nice way to organize that with some of those smaller little bags and accessories.
Fantastic. Again, guys, La Crosse Archery is super proud to be carrying Mystery Ranch. It's a fantastic pack. Whether it be going out west or whether it be sitting in your tree stand in Wisconsin, they've got something for every one of your needs. Putting a quarter of an elk on your back or putting a tree stand on your back, there's a bag that Mystery Ranch can handle that. So Alex, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
Guys, we got one more video coming for you, and then we're back to Wisconsin. Thanks again for tuning in for us.